This MMA 30 segment is powered by Cheaterville.com. Don't go down without a fight. See who's being outed for their cheating ways online now at Cheaterville.com. Our guest today here on the MMA 30 radio show is Jorge Rivera. Nice to have you on the program, man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
UFC 133, you're taking on Alessio Sakara. This is an interesting fight.
Yeah, it should have happened a year ago, but I got hurt, and then he got sick, and here we are now.
How honestly do you see this fight playing out for you? Do you think it's going to be a stand-up war for the entire fight?
It could be, you know what I mean? Or maybe we'll mix it up and do MMA, up and down, and see where it goes.
Where do you prefer it?
There's no secret about that. I think we both prefer it in last week.
Yeah, so I mean, I think this has the makings of a really exciting fight. It's happening at UFC 133, August 6th in Philadelphia, and this is an important fight for both of your careers, and it's an especially precarious position that you're in right now. You're coming off that loss to Michael Bisping, and I imagine that fight and that loss was pretty tough for you. How have you dealt with it since it's happened, now that you're looking back on it with a fresh set of eyes?
Yeah, it was tough to deal with, just the whole experience, to be honest, too. It's behind me now. You know what I mean? I don't, to be honest, I only think about it when I'm asked about it. I try not to focus on it. I got to just move forward, win this fight, and take what's next. I can't. It's behind me, dude. You know what I mean? I don't bother with it. Did it bother me? Yeah. Was I bothered by the whole thing? Yeah. I learned what I could learn from it, and had to move forward.
Let me ask you, do you think there's a double standard when it comes to some fighters? I mean, we saw Paul Daly take a cheap shot at Josh Koscheck and get cut from the UFC, and then Michael Bisping does what he did to you. And some people say that he unfairly and unjustly is getting rewarded with a coaching position in The Ultimate Fighter. But what's your take?
My whole experience with him was, it's hard for me to talk about it, to be honest, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
no, I understand, sure.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? And that's how they choose to run their business and organization. And I'm an employee of theirs, so I just do my job.
Well, without getting you in trouble, I mean, how do you personally feel? Because, you can't get in trouble for that. How do you personally feel about Michael Bisping today?
Before the fight happened, I knew that I was going to get underneath his skin by talking what I was talking and doing what I was doing. And to be honest with you, I really didn't know the guy. I had met him a few times here and there, and I wasn't crazy about him. You know what I mean? It was. I felt like it was easy for me to start to do what I was doing, because I felt like the way he came across on television and other places, he was going to be an easy guy to dig under. And it was part of the scheme to win the fight and to promote the fight. And I felt like we did a very good job doing that. And I felt like if he didn't like what I was saying and doing whatever, he had his opportunity to beat my ass and shut me up. And then he could have said whatever he wanted to say. And I would have I would have taken it humbly and said, he did this to me and I deserve everything, no problem. But the way that he went about doing it was, for lack of a better words, up. You know what I mean? And, so, but like I said, what am I going to do? Sit here and cry about it all day long and have my sour grapes come up? Nah, man, it is what it is. You know what I mean? If this is how they're going to go about doing it, no problem. I don't have a problem with that. And I'm looking to hopefully win this fight, watch him hopefully lose a fight, and maybe we can do it again.
So you're interested in a rematch with him?
I would like to fight him again.
He made some accusations. He said that you said some things that crossed the line that were wildly inappropriate, and that you were talking about his family members. How much truth is there to that?
Listen, we all witnessed the videos. We've all seen the videos. If he can point it out where I did that, I'd be more than happy to take responsibility for it. But it's just a flat out lie. It's a false accusation. I would never do that.
So you guys didn't have any private conversations where you said a couple of extra things to dig at him?
I'd never do that. I would never do that. You know what I mean? If it was so heated between us that I could never be alone with him in a private room talk. I could never. Can you picture that?
Yes.
I couldn't be in a room alone with him, just having a conversation without. I don't think I could do that.
So the other controversial point still is the knee in the fight. A lot of people say it was grossly intentional. Other people say it was maybe just a mistake. What do you think?
It was grossly intentional. He chambered it to knee me a second time. If the referee hadn't been in there and jumped in the middle, I would have caught two of them. And then he runs over to my corner right after he knees me. He starts screaming at them, this guy's a pussy. You know what I mean? So, if you're going to do this, just be a man. Suck it up and fucking admit to it. You know what I mean? Don't be. That's what I have a hard time with. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Was there any part of you that made you want to stop the fight at that point? Because, we all know that it's dangerous to take a knee.
I knew I had hyped up the fight. I knew I had talked a lot of smack. I knew half the people wanted to see me win. I knew half the people wanted to see him lose. And I wasn't gonna walk out of that fight like that. I'd rather lose and whatever and give the fans what they want than just to end the fight there. I wasn't going to do that. And in the back, I remember specifically sitting down and telling Dana, listen, I'm going to fight. You're going to get the most that you can get from me. I'm not going to, I'm here to fight. I'm going to do that. And I remember being on all fours and my head was ringing. And I remember specifically having that conversation with Dana. I wasn't going to lay down. I wasn't going to do that.
Well, before that loss to Michael Bisping, you rang off 3 wins in a row. But there's been some talk recently about you possibly thinking that UFC 133, win or lose, may be the end of the road for you. Is there any truth to that?
I'm not quite ready to retire, but I'm definitely looking at it. I'm getting older, my body and my family, everything else, just life. So it's like I got a 4-fight contract, and if all goes well, I'll do all 4. And if it doesn't, we'll see where it goes. I'm living my life day to day, literally. So that's how I'm going to approach that. When that fight's over, I'll reassess things and see where I'm at and where I'm going and make a better decision then.
Jorge Rivera, our guest today here on the MMA 30 Radio Hour. I would think that if you just walked away after your fight with Alessio Sakara, win or lose, that there would be some unfinished business. I know that I would be like an angry 85-year-old man sitting on my porch going, damn it, I should have gotten him back.
Like I've had a discussion with my friends, and I just think to myself, when I'm 50, 60 years old, I'm going to look back upon those videos. I don't care how goofy or how retarded I made it look at the time. I'm going to laugh again. I'm going to laugh again. I'm going to remember how irate, this man got and how it totally, he blew a gasket. And I'll even laugh at that even more. You know what I mean? Because he knew it was coming. He knew it was going to get busted, and he still let it get underneath his skin. You know what I mean? So I found the whole thing humorous.
Alessio Sakara at UFC 133. Jorge Rivera going to be taking him on. Always a pleasure to talk to you, man. Really looking forward to this fight at UFC 133, August the 6th in Philadelphia. Are you going to start a campaign bashing him on YouTube, perhaps?
No, not like Alessio. I know that the fire is going to... That fight, in all honesty, for the fans, I hope that him and I go out there and really lay it on the line and put on a great show for the fans.
Well, I don't think there's any question about that. You guys are both sluggers and always go out there to put on a show. So looking forward to seeing you, man, August the 6th. And again, thanks for your time today here on the MMA 30 Radio Hour.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
This MMA 30 segment was powered by Cheaterville.com. Don't be the last to know. Log on to Cheaterville.com and search your significant other now. And while you're there, search for your own name in the Cheaterville database. It's free, and it's online now at Cheaterville.com.